Okay.
GM. My man Bert, what is going on, brother? How are you today? Oh, you're muted. Let me see. How about now? Can I hear you? Now I can hear you loud and clear, man. What's going on, man? How are you today?
All good, bro. All good. Thanks for playing that little clip, man. That little early gameplay from Death Race. Cheers for that, and thank you so much for having me on, man. Really appreciate it, bro. Really looking forward to getting stuck in, man. Talking
Yeah,
about all
man.
things bikers and Solana gaming.
Yeah, I'm excited to deep dive, like what you're building. Like how did you get here? Like, what made you want to bring this like Grand Theft Auto Death Race with like Mario Kart monsters? Like, dude, like man, so many different games have gone through my head while I was watching that. And I think I'll date myself as a 38-year-old here to
Yeah.
like back in the day in PlayStation, some of the old school games, right? We haven't seen a biker racer type like slasher type game yet in a long time, and it's pretty nostalgic to almost see it. So
There was
break it
Road
down to
Rash.
me.
There was Road Rash. Did you play Road Rash?
Road Rash is exactly it, man. Do you remember those days, man? The chain, the kicking the leg, all those things, man. Oh man. But to walk me through, man, how did you guys come up with the concept of bringing this to Web3?
Well, it kind of started in reverse. Like, it started with the NFT collection. Like, NFTs were popping off 4 years ago, and I thought, I've got to get a piece of that, So, Wiggly Worms would mint out and raise $1 million on a Tuesday. You're like, oh my God, like, that's not cool. Why don't I just make bad bikers that cool, But Mr. Mania had to like deep dive into utility, like provide extra value. And originally started with like a animated series plan. But then, looked to, just because that's more my forte, like I studied film and whatnot. But then looked at gaming and like just saw a massive opportunity there. Like, obviously, like Road Rash was very successful before its sequel that was kind of just like a boring rehash. Do you know what I mean? But it wasn't unsuccessful because like there wasn't demand for it. It was just so like repetitive and like same level and not that much going on. Meanwhile, like, you've got Mario Kart, that's the most successful racing game ever, which just goes to show that like racing alone is boring, and they made it more dynamic. Do you know about like kindergarten level combat? But there's no like cultural reference point for like people wanting to throw bananas and shells at each other with little plumbers. But there's so much love, and like every boy looks out the window at Harley Davidson going by from his mum's car. Do you know what I mean? There's like, especially young males like love and find fascinating biker culture, especially like Harley bikes and stuff like that, biker gangs. And meanwhile, like in gaming, like at the top end of the spectrum, the top gaming genres are all different versions of violent shoot 'em ups, So it was kind of a no-brainer to bridge that gap and do a violent shoot 'em up version of the kind of beloved Mario Kart gameplay, So you can call it many different things: Road Rash on steroids, Mario Kart meets Grand Theft Auto, sprinkling of Mad Max, or just Mario Kart for the big boys, At the end of the day, like racing and shooting is kind of like the best of both worlds for a gamer. It's just extra adrenaline, extra dopamine, and seemed like a no-brainer, It's been like a tricky road, lots of bumps to get here, but now we're finally building it indie, and it's just looking dope, And big thanks to Glitchcraft Studio while I'm at it, They're really shipping for us, and yeah, so far so good, man. As you can see, it's early days, but it's looking dope.
Yeah, well, it's funny you just mentioned the studio. Talk to us a little bit about that, because I was just gonna ask, like, what was the game experience or like the team experience to be building this? Because I mean, just looking quickly at the trailer, it looks like you guys, like, this isn't your first almost rodeo, but you just mentioned the studio, so maybe it helps me understand, like, who are you guys like collaborating with to bring this to market?
Sure. Like, I'm not a game developer, so we had to originally, like, I made a very cheap MVP a while ago, which just kind of looked crap, for bootstrapped. It was like back in 2021 when the bar and the level for specifically Web3 games was so low, you could kind of get away with it. But it just wasn't worth even going. Like, it was just the concept and the potential was so strong. Like, why put that out? And then I was hoping to kind of raise a shitload of money through NFTs to make this with the AAA games developers, like I said, Port Studio, that have like co-produced Call of Duty and stuff like that. But the idea of like the amount I needed to raise in the NFT climate, when I'd have kind of an relative unknown, was just unrealistic. And eventually, Aesthetica, do you know him from Launch My NFT? He said, hey man, this guy King Boo Boo, their studio Glitchcraft, they're making some really cool indie. Can you hear my kid screaming out there? Is that coming through the microphone? No.
A little bit, but don't worry.
They're making some really cool, really high quality games, small indie studio. And yeah, just got chatting with them, and yeah, got started as soon as we could, because I could kind of made a couple good trades, had a few quid, and thought just enough to get the ball rolling. And to be honest, mate, the difference between like endlessly kind of trying to market on Twitter versus actually like building a product at the same time is just a completely different world, man, and so much more rewarding, So yeah, actually building the game, actually seeing it develop, actually putting these things out is wicked,
Yeah, man. Congratulations. I mean, like, it's really cool to see, and it's really cool to hear the story as well. And like, how to bring your idea to fruition is sometimes probably the toughest thing as an entrepreneur. But now it gets even tougher because now you have to bring it to market, and now you have to be in probably the toughest market with gamers, who are probably the most blunt, no filter people in the space that you know, if they're not winning, man, they're gonna tell you your game is completely like it sucks. They're like, I lost, and it's like it's the game's fault. It's nothing to do with me, my skill level at all.
Yeah.
But you know, what are you thinking? Like when you're building this, building this, is this a like gameplay first, a destruction? Like tell me, like, is it a skill game? Like, what is it that you're trying to accomplish first to prove to show that, hey, like the early testers, the early supporters, to make sure, hey, the long-term vision of building this all out is still, you know, quite some time, but during this time, why be part of this, right? What makes you unique? What makes it different than most other games, right? Because I think I already saw quite some things that I'm saying, okay, cool. Like this is different. This is unique. This is what I love about gaming. We're reiterating certain things, but bringing in some of the new technology, some of the new features that do make a game more sticky.
Yeah, so this would be a good time to remind you that this is a Web 2 game. You know, this is a Web 2 mobile game. Originally, it was going to be very much a Web 3 game. I was going to try and integrate every NFT. People could play their PFPs, but then as soon as I kind of wanted to focus on like driving revenue back to the holder, you know, and made that the main focus, it made complete sense to make this a Web 2 game rather than a Web 3 game because there are less barriers to entry. You've got a wider addressable market, etc., etc. So, firstly, I know it's not typical for this show, the Web3 gaming strategist, but this is a Web2 mobile game. And what makes it different is we are like fully 100% with the game focused on max fun. And like even in a way that maybe I, you know, catch a bit of criticism for, but like really trying to ignore everything that isn't max fun in gaming. Like I think gaming over the last, I don't know how many years has really kind of like changed a lot, and not necessarily for the better as far as user experience. Now, like everyone has a free to play game and they're always just trying to milk you at every turn within the game. And there's also this kind of like focus on digital consumerism in game, on accessorizing, on like what your character wears. Like who cares, man? Like when I'm not the world's biggest gamer, but when I was like gaming, or when I really wanted to, when I was a teenager or whatever, like can you imagine like playing Tekken for 2 hours with your cousins and thinking, oh God, Eddie always wearing that same reggae t-shirt and that flipping leopard never changes his spots. If only, you know, like it's about a game, man. And like, you know, the world pays for everything everywhere. And the gamers know that they're not getting a game for free. They know they're going to be sold something, you know. And we're 100% winding back. That's why we make it a $15 a year subscription, you know, so we can completely avoid all these in-game advertising, in-game marketplace, hyper financialization, focus on in-game economies, trying to financialize and monetize every corner and turn of the game. Instead, we're literally just focused on making this game loop that I said, like Mario Kart for the big boys, as true to that premise as possible and as fun as it, you know, has every right to be. Because if it's that fun, you know, like the sky's the limit as far as like the game's actual success. And then, you know, that's what we promise to our community is to focus on that. And if that happens, well, then they're earning. Do you know what I mean? As co-owners of the game within this new ecosystem model we're pioneering that treats our NFT holders as like almost like co-owners of the game. We call them Go NFTs, game owning NFTs, where they'll get 81% of net revenues, everything after App Store and Play Store. I mean, I'll call it IP. I'll call it, royalties deliverables, just for like SEC contentious issues. And then they're going to have to sign off that everyone knows everything. And we can get into that later if that's of interest to you. But we're essentially giving 81% of net revenues to our holders. And we allow it. So if you want to play the game and have a lot of fun, play the game. If you want to earn, help us grow, because that's financially sustainable apart from anything else. Like growth is what brings in the bacon. You know, you like a lot of Web3 games, I think have failed because of promises around the kind of economy of things that you can all earn. It's like a restaurant. You can't invite people to eat for free and pay them to come unless they're going to bring a shitload of people paying customers afterwards. Do you know what I mean? So that's kind of the system we focus on. And again, it's enabled us to really like make the game all about max fun and allow people to earn in a sustainable fashion and like properly financially incentivize them to help us grow and help us reach the numbers and help us get the reach, you know, that a game of that kind of premise of Mario Kart for the big boys deserves. Sorry, a bit of a ramble, but
Yeah.
hope that.
Well, I mean, I guess it's Web 2.5, right? Almost, because I mean the game itself is Web 2, but the community aspect and the involvement of the community to get the fundraising, to get the community support, marketing, to build the community is the Web 3 side of it. And I think,
Yeah,
like, I
I'd say
do
it's
think that
Web3 facilitated, you know?
yeah, I do think that there's a lot of projects out there that are very much Web 2 focused and Web 2 building with the Web 3 components of it. And I do believe that that is truly one of the best ways to build, right? Because essentially, gaming itself, technology has always been at the forefront of gaming. We've been through many years of technology powering gaming and bringing different game experiences. Blockchain is doing that as well, right? From a marketplace and assets to, again, the community aspect of being able to fundraise. So I do believe that, like, the game itself never has to change. The dynamics of the game and the game, like, foundations are still being driven by the game itself being fun, right? Like, it has to be fun. I don't think crypto or blockchain enhances that in any way to say, yeah, like, sign a transaction after every single time you claim a weapon. Now that's not going to be fun at all. It's got to be all done on the back end. And on the back end is where you have a lot of more fun, because there is blockchain and marketplaces that you could trade assets. Value starts occurring on assets depending on rarity and all that stuff. So I do think that, like, you're doing it the right way, where the game should be Web 2 and Web 2 focused, because again, that's where gamers are and gamers will want to discover it. The gamer itself, I think, is probably one of the smartest, like, user audience in all of crypto, all of most of industries, because we're the most curious people in the space, right? Like, you tell me there's value in this token, we're going to go find it. We're going to go read upon it. We're going on Reddit. We're going on Twitter. We're going on all these pages to kind of, like, say, okay, what is it that I'm getting involved in? What is this wallet I need to download? What is it that I have to send to, and how do I acquire it? And so I think
like
that
Web3 gamers more than gamer gamers. Do you know what I mean? For a lot of gamer gamers and just people out there in the world that still don't even know what Bitcoin is, all that stuff is, like, aggressively off-putting. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's exactly why I'm saying, like it's only going to be curious to those gamers that are curious about it, right? Like, they're going to go want to learn about what they're holding. Yeah, I probably would say that there's a good percentage of maybe 80 to 85% of the people that will play Web3 games in the future probably will never even care about the asset or the money or the value behind it. They just want to play the games for fun. I mean, you look at so many games nowadays that have financial incentives, and they're just like, yeah, whatever. I just want to play. Let me get another spin. Let me get another roll into this. And so I think it's really cool. Now let me, like, get back back to the game, because I know I got carried away. Like, you mentioned a little bit, like, where you guys are. Where does the first alpha beta iteration of what we just saw, like, when is that going to be polished? Or maybe, like, when do you guys turn on marketing or revenue? Because I know that you mentioned, like, the revenue aspect of it. Like, maybe walk us through maybe a roadmap to get us better to, like, understand what are expecting and when to expect it.
Sure. So this is kind of a rough roadmap, but we hope to conclude.
Don't ever set any expectations. We don't like that.
We hope to conclude this MVP probably this time next month, when it should be kind of polished, more in line with, like, our conventional bad biker IP. Yeah, everything kind of looking wicked, feeling wicked, playing wicked. We just play tested an early beta now. We've got some feedback. We're going to make some changes. We're going to implement some new stuff. Found some bugs, sorting out some bugs. We will be doing a Genesis mint, what we call Los Primos. Los Primos, you're Hispanic, right? Los Primos, cousin, yeah. Also the first in other Latin languages. So it was a really good name for our Genesis collection. They're pixel art PFPs. Their utility, they won't be game owning NFTs, but we're going to set them up so that if you mint, you can register your App Store, Play Store email address, right? And you'll get 3 years free game. And then if you actually hold the NFT, or the next person you sell it to holds the NFT when the actual full game comes out, which I imagine will be around the summertime, they'll get 5 years of free game. So there's this obvious kind of, like, upsell for the minters as well, like a safety net to move it along as well, and they get rewarded for minting as well. And I think this is as good a platform to tell the world as any, but I think I'm 99% sure I'm going to make that lifetime a free game for the people that hold it at the time, you know. So those minters are really, like, Guaranteed, because NFTs has been pretty brutal for a lot of holders. Do you know what I mean? And people like that kind of safety net moving forward, and you know, another reason to hold the NFT as well. So yeah, Los Primos, that gives us some kind of essentially chugging along capital, man. I'm bootstrapped. I'm a solo founder. We're also doing something really cool where we're like gamifying that mint. I sent you that Harley Davidson, right? So we're sending you some pictures of the Harley Davidson.
I think so.
Well, you
in the
remember.
chat, yeah.
Check the media we got sent over, bro. It's in the media kit, mate.
Okay.
We've got an IRL, a real life Harley Davidson Softail Heritage. It was already customed. We Bad Biker customized it some more. We've got our like logo, like this little logo. Can you see that? You know, Bad Biker logo now, man. Coolest logo in the business, man. We made it organic. It's like popping out of the headlight of the motorbike. Do you know what I mean? We've also got the knuckle dusters cut out the rear fender, spikes on the handlebars and axles, and our logo on the petrol tank, everything like that. It's looking wicked, man. So we'll be raffling that off to the holders, along with some merch, some little signet rings, some looks like a knuckle duster, but for legal reasons, this is a paperweight. Some dope leather jackets with like blue leopard skin interior, man, a bunch of sick merch, NFT, stuff like that. Really gamifying that mint process. We want to come in with a bang and show people that we're doing differently, not just tell people we're doing differently. That's what the IRL Harley Davidson is about. And then show people all about delivering value to our holders and just treating people that are enabling us with their hard-earned money, just treating them with a financial respect, you know, in the future with the game owning NFTs, treating them as game owners, and with the Los Primo NFTs, making sure they get a lifetime of free game, you know.
That's awesome, man.
Even if they sell it, getting 3 years of free game, you know.
Yeah. Back to the game though itself. So like, tell us about like what you're thinking about the game from some what we're seeing. Like, is there going to be like maybe to walk us through a little bit of the game loop or the game play, the dynamics? How many maps? Was it racing, leaderboards? What are we expecting in the game? Like, what's the competition? Like, what are we actually like the achievements that we're looking to do within the game? And like, how do we, you know, again, when it does come live as well, like how do we get access to the game? Where is it going to be available? So I know, sorry, a million questions there, but I'm excited about it.
Sure. If I miss one of them out, just remind me. So the game will be available everywhere as a Web2 mobile game. They're kind of nothing stopping it being available everywhere. App Store, Play Store, potentially on our website, the DApp Store of Solana. We're going to probably we might even leave the MVP on the Seeker phone just for a bit more Solana support. But then the real game will come out on the App Store, Play Store, and Steam. What was the other part of the question? Game loop. So yeah, originally it was just super focused on like the Mario Kart loop for the big boys. But we wanted to make it like even more dynamic and even more exciting, you know. So we've got like a lot of NPCs, bandits attacking bikers on the road. The lore of the game is quite cool. It's basically like it's set in post-apocalyptic times, and the only reason all these bikers survived is because they received micro nuclear exposure in the motorcycle factory where they were developing some new nuclear powered tech or whatever. And this doesn't make any scientific sense, but it's just sensible enough for a game lore. Do you know what I mean? They developed antibodies to the radiation. A little bit of radiation created the antibodies, you know. So basically everyone at the biker factory and their mums' families and a few people that bought bikes in town are all left over. The animals that are left over in this post-apocalyptic world have mutated, you know, they're all flipping rabid, supersized, and they all like bikers for lunch, dinner, and breakfast, you know. So that's all really exciting. So you've got like plenty of like race maps within essentially like an open world, or maybe like multiple open worlds with different maps within them. Right now we've got a 10K squared open world with 20K of track, 3 different racetracks around it, and like 4 different game modes. But in the future, way more racetracks and like different places rather than just one open world. And the other, race mode. We'll also have team races, so you can like have gangs, and it just matters which member of your gang crosses the line first. Kind of like when you go paintballing and it's a capture the flag. It's not everyone wins; it's the last person standing in the team or whatever. Then we also have like a point-to-point race system, which is also really cool. So it's kind of off-road, and you can go anywhere, and you can choose your direction. And there are plenty of rabid, mutated animals there. You know, it's kind of like a Paris-Dakar but a bit smaller. You have to hit certain checkpoints, but there's no kind of one track. And then we'll have kind of like a kind of deathmatch arena, just last person standing, drive around, but we're still kind of fine tuning that because of the turning access. It's not kind of, it's a bit finicky right now. We're experimenting with a few things. We also want to push kind of offline multiplayer. I really would prefer because like I've got a 1-year-old kid, man. Do you know what I mean? Like I love him being outside in the park. Like I don't really want to like push the next generation of like iPad attached children. Do you know what I mean? Like I'd like people touching grass and that, what I like about this game right now, or why I focused on mobile, one of the reasons is it's not to like suck away the life outside, but more to save you from your commute on the train, on the bus, in the taxi, in the waiting room, waiting for this, whatever, like it's in your pocket, it's screaming, have fun with me for 7 minutes while you're doing this mundane part of life that we all have to go through, whatever it is, what am I bloody banging on about, mate? I've forgotten your question, forgotten where I was going with that thought. Multiplayer on offline. Like it's cooler. Like the world is kind of focused on like online multiplayer. And one of Mario Kart's main success facets or temples was like how much they focused on like offline multiplayer. It's cool to play games with your friends, and like it's also, by the way, in case I haven't mentioned, it's like accelerometer steering based. We may cater for buttons in the future, but right now we really want to get this accelerometer focused steering system going, so because it frees up your thumbs to do like way more, including aiming and shooting rather than just straight up shooting, or like Mario Kart where you just press B and it always hits the target, including handbrake turns, power-ups, other stuff like that. But it also makes the mobile gaming experience more immersive, and like mobile gaming is typically, it's pretty crap. It's tiny little screen, your hand bent over, whatever. So it's a bit more immersive. You're steering, you're knocking your buddy or whatever. You can imagine that being more fun than your typical mobile gaming experience. So yeah, I think that kind of just about answers your question there. You're muted, bro. Now you're muted, mate. You're muted.
It's me. The technology always wants to do with their own thing. I think it's also great to hear just kind of exactly like what that game loop is, and like how you came with the game. And I love this apocalyptic like journey that we're gonna go on, and seeing oversized rabbits and all this stuff. Like I think it's really, really cool. Like it's different, it's unique, it makes it cool. Let me ask you last question here is like, again, you're building this. What do you think's been like the toughest part about building? Like, what do you think is like one thing that you didn't like coming into this, didn't realize how hard it was, that you probably want to share with other founders that are watching this, that are saying, man, if they're ready to jump into game development, you should know this?
Yeah, I mean, like as like I'm not the game developer on the ground. I can't touch so much on like the game development side, but from like launching a business in Web3 side, I can probably offer some insight. I launched this officially, or like our official X page, like a year and 3 months ago, whatever. The climate has just been atrocious, even though like arguably what I'm doing for NFTs, the value distribution back to the holder, how I'm sidestepping Web3 gaming and making a Web2 game that Web3 participants own and have max fun with, is arguably like an answer to both markets who have been really suffering, right? Web3 gaming and NFTs. But the reality is, it's like really hard to kind of like break out of your category. It's really, it's tough marketing anything in Web3. It's really tough when you're like me and you don't really like social media and you're used to just be on Twitter to look at tips and never even wrote a comment in your life because you're just, do you know what I mean? It's just not your vibe. Suddenly, like your visibility and your credibility is important, your network, who you're rubbing shoulders with, getting on spaces. So it's good to do all that stuff, founder funnel stuff. What other insight can I offer?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's always good to hear, like, I think like some of the stuff, like trials and tribulations of founder, A lot of people think it's easy. A lot of people think it's something that like, hey man, I'll just kind of put the stuff into Chat GPT and I'll talk to it and it'll help me get my idea and get to execute. But yeah, it's not that it's easy once you start actually get the balls rolling and you start realizing that there's a lot more issues than what Chat GPT told you. And it's like, okay, well now I actually need the actual GDD for the game. And then hey, the GDD for the game maybe has to change because maybe we're gonna do multiplayer and it's gonna go offline and now all these things have to like, this octopus starts being built of a game that you're just like, man, like, all right, we got to get more hands on deck to figure out, hey, like, what exactly does this entail? How do we get this? And then the cost, right? Cost is something that like I think maybe sometimes always gets undervalued. It's like, oh yeah, it's only going to cost us this. Next thing you know, it's like 6 months in, it's like, yeah, we need double that to get to where we need to get to.
What actually kind of happened to me a lot, like I had a little bit of cash marketing to get these NFTs over the line. We'd get down to like my last 1,000. We'd like trade it up to 8,000. I was like, why didn't I trade the whole fucking thing? Like I could have been building the game, da da da. So if you can trade your little money bag up to more, it helps, And I thought that was kind of irresponsible, but actually, like, that happened 2-3 times. I was like, why didn't I just do that with a big bag at the beginning rather than drip it on? KOL is a pretty tough ROI, man, especially when you don't know what you're doing and you're kind of dependent on them. I'd recommend a platform like Zeely for more kind of ROI on the ground early than KOLs when you're trying to get your name out there, but also just partnerships as well. Like I'm put out, man. Like people don't just want to help you because your idea is cool. It's the harsh reality. Even if your idea is as cool as Bad Bikers and Death Race, people are like, well, scratch my back first, So we're doing a lot of one-on-ones for different communities and people love that. It's just it's pretty simple, but people love that. What else, man? What other, but game dev advice is better off asking my game devs. And from a founder that isn't a game dev, find sick game devs. Like I'm super lucky with Glitchcraft Studio. And yeah, don't go to Glitchcraft Studio because I'm keeping them busy for a while, maybe, but get yourself some sick game devs. That makes life a lot easier, and make sure that they're excited about your project, man, because that can't be faked. And when people are excited about your project, they just, work doesn't seem like work and they pump it, they ship.
Yeah. What are some key dates that we should be aware of? Like when is things going to be releasing so we can start marking on the calendar? NFTs are launching soon. So like, what do you have that 2-3 weeks out? When do you have
Lost Primos NFT? Hopefully in a month, sorry. Hopefully we should have the game looking how the game will look and have an actual gameplay trailer, which would be really cool. Have you seen the AI trailer, Jorge?
Yeah.
The AI trailer is already pretty sick, and that was made 8 months ago. So we're going to kind of redo some AI video stuff, some AI film stuff, cut in the gameplay. So that trailer should look banging. End line. There's a big difference between owning a piece in a game versus owning a piece of a game.
Yeah.
What else?
How do we make sure? Where should we kind of have our notifications on? Are you guys doing everything through Twitter, or is there a website? Like, what's the best way to make sure that we don't miss out on anything?
Yeah, Twitter's definitely best. Put your notifications on. Follow us, Bad Bikers. Follow me, Bad Biker. We just started a Twitter community. I keep actually forgetting to post from the Twitter community and just post from my official account. I think social media is not my forte. I'm not that boomer. That sounded like atrociously, awfully boomer to say in a Web3 streaming, but like just forgot to post on the community a couple of times, guys. But yeah, follow along Bad Bikers, man. That's where and also one last thing. Jump into our Discord. And if you're going to mint an NFT, which you'd be fucking stupid, no financial advice, but you'd be fucking stupid not to mint a Los Primos NFT. Attach your X account to our Engage bot in Discord, and you'll get a multiplier on all the raffle tickets you get for minting the Los Primos NFT. And the earlier you mint, the more raffle tickets you get. If you mint more of them, you get raffle tickets per with a multiplier. So, our absolute brand value is like we reward people that help us grow, at this stage, at every stage, and in every way we can.
Yeah, man. Congratulations to you guys. Congrats on everything. I'm excited for what you guys are building. I'll make sure I have my notifications on. I will make sure that day when the game comes out, I'll take the day off to make sure that I'm in the community. I'm in the Discord. I'm challenging everyone. And as you know, I'm the #1 gamer in Solana. So, no one could beat me. So I'll be a #1 on the leaderboard.
Have you got an Android phone?
Man, I got it all. What do you want me to do, man?
come and test the game with us, bro. I'll send you the next APK, man.
Come on, you
This
gotta
is
have the
good.
Solana secret phone, man.
Oh, I don't know. Solana Seeker phone, I think it needs an extra layer of porting that we'll do when the MVP is actually live. But you have an
All right.
Android phone down there as well?
I got the
There you
Android Solana phone then.
go. Nice.
But
Um,
yeah, man, excited
mm,
for what you guys are building. We'll make sure we go follow Bad Bikers. We'll make sure we keep our notifications on. We'll join the Discord. And yeah, man,
yeah,
next when the game is live, let's run it back and let's check it out. Let's play the game and get involved with the community.
100%, man. And thank you so much for for the airtime, man. I know you kind of normally just kind of put stuff out, the live games that are already out there, mate. So really appreciate you bending the rules for us, man, little old bad bikers. But yeah, man, massively appreciate it, man. This all helps, you know.
Yeah, man. And
all
like I
helps.
said, when it's live, let's run it back and let's get back on the show.
Yeah, bro, 100%, man. Definitely, bro. It's been a
All right,
pleasure,
brother.
man. Is there anything else to be said, man? Any other questions, anything like that? Am I leaving anything?
No, man. Just keep the notifications on, and we'll make sure that we tune back in a month or so.
Nice, 100%, man. Fly with the brother.